Season 2 of Lunaverse from Rainbow Double Dash. Episode 6, A Bushel Full of Carrots by Great Guard Pony. Chapter 4, Final Chapter. Really? Oh, I didn't think we came to the end. Carrot Consequences. Carrot Top trotted out Ponyville Schoolhouse with a distinct springer step. Humming happily, she walked to the front of the line of foals where Cheerly was waiting. The school teacher's salad bags were both crammed full of healthy snacks in preparation for what would, hopefully, be the successful nature walk. Ready, ready, Cheerly responded, turning towards her students. She began to display the itinerary to the foals. Carrot Top looked over Ponyville, mind wandering over how peaceful everything looked in the warm morning light. Right down to the blurs of yellows and oranges that were beginning to bounce through the streets. No, she gaped, her eyes growing wide. Now what? Cheerly asked, oblivious to the doom that was approaching them. It was like watching a swarm of ants rush over a picnic as their copies flooded Ponyville. They hopped onto roofs, bowled ponies over into the street, hauled them back up, only for them to be knocked over again. Smashed into windows, it sent other ponies into blind panic. A large group of copies ranged right towards them. Help, 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 they shouted in distorted currents. Cheerily twisted towards the rush of unrest voices. Her own eyes nearly doubling in size at the incoming avalanche of ponies. A cry of panic rose from her students, and the foals stumbling back from the horde, a few tripping over each other. Back inside! She sighed, quickly ushering her charges into relative safety of indoors. Ursa Drill, get under your desk and cover your heads! As they did what she asked, Cheerily looked back towards her friend. Carrot Top? Carrot Top was still standing in shock in the middle of the road. Her eyes sludged right on the advancing horde. The Carrot Tower couldn't force herself to move. Later, she was seen crashing down on her. A moment later, they crashed down upon her as well. She felt herself swept away, suddenly carried upon the backs of her copies. Cheerily shouting after her, Help! Help! Down to just the one word, I see, Trixie growled. Dicty, sir, it's just a little too thin. Focusing, she concentrated a scintillating spear she forged for the colors of the rainbow. With a flicker of her head, she pisted in a curved arc, slinking it right past the eyes of a few that were leaping towards the windows of Sugar Cube Corner. Ooh, they cooed, distracted by the shimmering ball of light. When there were glow of magic from her horn, Trixie sent the bouncing ball flying down the street, clones chasing after it with a burst of happy giggles. But more were still coming. Yeesh! Dis responded, mumbling through a mouthful of a broom handle, hastily provided by Mr. Cake before he locked the door. She swung the broom, and another one that was coming in from the opposite direction, but bonked nearly over the strike, and landed next to the window, first floor windows. Help! It beat, reaching for said window. Raindrops dropped from the sky, landing on a copy of all four hooves. Exploding with a lead pop, the weather pony found herself drenched from head to hocks. Snoring, she lazily shook the water from her form, glancing down at her friends. You all right? She questioned, anger evident in her voice. So far, yeah. Trixie nodded. Raising the eyebrows, she spared a glance to her friend. You look upset. Weather schedule for the next week got destroyed when one bounced into help. She growled, pouncing on another one. There's another group of these things coming out of the infantry, by the way. This is completely nuts, Dizzy sighed, spitting the broom out of her mouth to talk. I said we were done with clones! Obviously, we missed one, Raindrops growled, decking another. There were Timberwolves, and then I don't know, it made more or something. Why? Get no idea, but considering we're up to our eyeballs in Carrot Tops here, I'm not sure what else could have happened. Where's our Carrot Top? Trixie inquired, whooping another explosive of light and color into the faces of a terrific clone group. No idea. They all look the same from the air, she answered with a shrug. We'll have to work this one out on the ground. Oh. Trixie frowned, scanning the street around them. Which way do you want to start? Thinking for Raindrops pointing down the street. Towards Bonbons. At the very least we can pick up Lyra over there. Shit! Out! Bonbon's host connected squarely with the mindless Carrot Top sign. The impact of the strike catapulted through the smashed window of the confessatorium and entered 5 moments before. Unlike seeing hidden before, she flicked her mane with an annoyed huff. All in all, Lyra thought, that form of that bucklet was been excellent. Dear, Bonbon smiled, a little too wisely, you need to have a conversation with Carrot Top. I'm sure she wouldn't have summoned more on purpose It doesn't change what's out there! Help! A clone questioned, peeking its head through the smashed window. Bonbon turned and decked it on the snout, sending it toppling away with a yelp. She turned back to Lyra with an exasperated sigh. Another clone happening past, and the sounds of other window in the street punctuating the scene. Right, Lyra rubbed the sides of her head. Solutions. Before we had to go begging to Carola for more money. Again! Maybe you could be tricked? Bonbon suggested, glancing out the broken window. 3 copies of Carrot Top red past, carrying hammers in their mouths. A moment later, Window Pane charged after, yelling at them to give him his tools back. You don't seem to be acting very smart right now. Lyra frowned, tapping her chin with a hoof. We've got to lock one up when we tricked it into some kind of logical paradox. Of course, Dan snapped out of it the moment we mentioned help. Help! A copy shouted from a grin, plugging her head into the room. Bonbon face huffed, a teeth grinding grimace crossing her muzzle. This is going to become a thing, isn't it? Afraid so. Lyra frowned. As her significant other turned to deal with the new clone, Lyra called her instrument to her side. She needed something to help her think. Maybe some kind of big event we could learn them to. Something that would just confuse them? She thought, idly strumming her lyre with a hoof. No, that'll take too long to set up, and going from clone to clone will take too long. Her absent-minded strumming moved in a tune that had played the other day at the pool. She focused on the melody, blocking out the sounds of chaos outside to shop, letting the melody organize her thoughts. They respond when you ask for help. They have some kind of hive mind. If you ask them to do something really big and require more than one point to accomplish, Lyra! Snapping out of her thoughts, Lyra looked up to see that her friends had arrived, most of them at least. Still looking for our Carrot Top? She asked, trying outside. As she crossed the threshold and stepped out into the street, an avalanche of flowers rained down upon the heads of her and her friends. Happy giggles rang in her ears as a trio of clones hopped past on the roofs above, tossing a complete stock of Daisy, Lily, and Rose's flower shop onto the streets below. Afraid so, rang out snoring, sinking a bunch of roses off their head. Still haven't been able to pick her out of this mess. Lyra nodded, motioning for them to follow her. Running down the street. Look, I have an idea. We need to get to that town hall. Why? Tracy asked, joining her friends, chasing the musician. I'll explain on the way! A pain grunt escaped Terratop's lips as he collapsed to the ground. The clones, supporting her hammer, scattered like a disturbed school of fish. Grunting, she pulls herself back upright, shaking the stars from her eyes. She almost wished she hadn't. Carrying along the same street that the day spot was set on, she was now lost in a mill of clones engaged in acts of helpful destruction. One was attacking the spawner's roof with a mallet, singles being tossed left and right in a flurry of strikes. Another was being chased by Blossom Forth, spritzing every place he passed with a collection of layers of fragrances. Setting her jaw, she charged towards one of the many nearby copies. The one that was currently involved in painting the side of the building green. Hey, stop that! She shouted, yanking the paint away. Help! It asked, frowning confusion. No, stop helping! You're haunting ponies! Help! He grinned, turning to the paint. For Lunas. A pile of envelopes dropped from above, mostly bouncing off her body, though a few remained stuck in her mane. Squeezing her eyes shut, Carrot Top mentally counted to 10, to bite down to the sire to stop screaming. This is all my fault, she thought. Ponyfield's going to get completely wrecked again, and it's all my fault! She could even hear the ponies passing in the street, muttering behind her back. They honestly thought she was a clone too, but they weren't sure why she was just standing there. She took a few more deep breaths, trying to work out what to try next. Carrot Top? She felt a friendly huff race on her withers, Shirley's confirmed voice reaching her ears. Opening her eyes, she twisted to look at her friend. The schoolteacher was biting her lip, eyes full of concern. Are you okay? I've been better, she answered with a sad smile. How does he know it was me? You were the only one not running around frantically, trying to help ponies. Shirley responded, pulling her friend to a hug. They didn't hurt you at all, did they? Maybe a bruise and they dropped me to the ground. Carrot Top sighed, pulling herself out of the hug. I'm more worried about what they're doing. Ponyfield's going to get wrecked at this rate. Hey, we can still fix this. Carrot Top was about to ask how, when the accents of another clone interrupted her. A cake, presumably liberated from Tsukuku Corner, but who could really tell to be sure, lazily arched through the air, inspired face down top of her help. A sound of the clown bouncing off and throwing more cakes and pastries at any point they passed on the street. Carrot Top felt her right eye twitch. Carrot Top, Charlie blinked, calm down. A smile that bordered on mania across her muzzle. Carrot Top spun to face the copies. Hey! I need the help of all of you! Every last one! She sighed, frustration reaching pink. I need every last pony to help me count to 1,000,000. Almost at once, the chaos stopped. Each clone froze in the middle of whatever activities they were engaged in. More than a few falling to the ground with heavy thuds since they were in midair at the time. Then they began to count. 1, they said in creepy unison. 2. Carrot Top and Shirley blinked, exchanging confused glances at each other. Also actually expecting that to work, she admitted with an embarrassed smile. 45. Wait, Shirley blinked. Were they just at 10? 535. What? 32? Great, she sighed. They forgot the order of numbers. Well, Carrot Top grinned nervously, they do have a 1 in a million chance of landing in the number. Which can happen at any moment. Carrot Top groaned. Oh, let's go find the others. By the time they caught up with their friends, the townsfolk had begun to drag the frozen, still counting copies to the town square, in light of any other ideas. Large piles of orange and yellow were stacked up around the plaza, with each more being dragged in every moment. 1,356? This is going to get annoying really fast. Carrot Top! She looked over as Trixie and the rest came rushing to her side. Lyra carrying her namesake instrument along with her. Are you okay? Dizzy asked, tilting her head. I wasn't sure we were going to find you in that mess. Me neither, she responded with a stride. Wasn't expecting you to actually start counting to 1,000,000 either, so I guess we lucked up there. But not at least. She quickly added to the end. Oh, so that was you? Trixie raised an eyebrow. I was wondering why you had started readily studying out numbers. I was frustrated, Carrot Top answered in a nervous stride. So, you had them count? It was all I could think of. Please, tell me you have some kind of plan. We do, Lyra nodded to the town hall. We're going to throw a parade. What? The explanation of the plan had quickly passed around townsfolk as they continued to drag copies to the square. The piles of copies continued to grow, even more so when they began to haul carts of them into town. Carrot Top felt her stomach do a flip, expressive growing acid. Just how many of these things are there? She grumbled to Lyra, while the appetite drank her cup of hers off. Looks like 100 so far, Shirley commented, doing a quick estimation. I'm guessing a clone had to escape during the chaos and made copies all night. I didn't ask for a small army, Carrot Top sighed, her hair dripping. Stop it, Shirley chided, her voice becoming stern for a moment. You can't keep blaming yourself. I was pony messing around with unicorn magic. Did you know it was unicorn magic at the time? Jenny, Sarah sighed. I didn't know what it was. I didn't even stop to think about how long one copy would be around. And we'll fix it. We'll doubt what the Timberwolf says last night. We can handle this. Doesn't make me feel any less stupid for starting it off in the first place. Carrot Top sighed again. I just wanted to help. All right, Lyra called out, grabbing every pony in the stairs in question, and which, at the moment, was most of the group that had assisted the night before. She stood at the top of the town hall stairs, and on a two-legged stance only she could pull off. I'm going to start. 735. Playing at the signal, it leads them back to the pool. Any pony who wants to help, 222, follow alongside the group. If they either try to run off on their own, turn them around. 9,999, laying slikes, Applejack shouted. Let's get this underway before this cannon drives over pony insane. Larry looked at Carrot Top and nodded, nodding back to Farmer Twine to the nearest pile of clones. Didn't matter which one. I need every pony to help with the parade. He stopped counting, and immediately swinging back to their hooves. Lyra lost its accent. Quick was strumming out a fast and jaunty tune. Every pony follow me, she shouted, galloping towards the infantry. In a fight squealed glee that could have knocked Pinkie Pie over, the clones rushed after her. The volunteer crew took off next, following close behind until they cleared the town limits. The procession was long. The massive impact of hooves on the ground shaking in the leaves from the trees, and the starry reflection of the rain in the leaves. Lyra continued to lead the way, her horn glowing to amplify the sound of her lyre over the roar of hooves hitting the dirt and the clone's continued cry of help. Carrot Top countered along the line, keeping her eyes peeled for any clones trying to slip loose. Thankfully, they seemed quite focused on lyre and the music, at least at the moment. Hey, Carrot Top! She blinked as Applejack and Green Grape fell into the line on either side of her. Both farmers glancing around, then back to Carrot Top and occasionally at each other. Neither seemed all that way to speak up. Can I help you? I just want to say I'm sorry, Green Grape sighed. We got to talk it back down in the land layer, Applejack elaborated. Now this whole mess probably got started when we both wanted your help on the same morning. Carrot Top nodded in response. Look, I shouldn't have implied some kind of us versus them thing about Applejack. Green elaborated, her head drooping slightly. I thought that setting traps was a waste of time. I mean, we've not had a timber wolf attack in my memory. Applejack nodded slightly at the comment. Of course, that stance feels kind of foolish now, Green muttered. But I'm sorry I had a hoof in pushing you towards this. It's okay, Green Grape, Carrot Top sighed, with a shake of her head. I should have had some common sense. But you can't blame yourself too much, Applejack interrupted. I might want to do too much. It could cause problems. She finished with a nod. Carrot Top blinked, tilting her head slightly as she looked right to Applejack's eyes. She didn't say anything else, but Carrot Top felt like a sense of understanding passed between the two moments in that moment. Yeah, I can. Hey, Applejack? Green Grape piped up. How about next season we get all the farmers working together on Timberwolf duty? We're all on the outskirts of town, so we had to deal with them first anyway. I'll work in it, Milk Slates. Carrot Top nodded slightly as the two farmers began to talk over the possibilities of a Timberwolf defense militia, nudging a copy that was beginning to stray out the line back into place. Thought popped in her mind. You know, we should probably back up the parsley somehow. She nodded towards the pair, interrupting their conversation. You know, so no other pony goes down there and we're right back in this situation again. Good point, Green Grape nodded. I'll see if I can grab a few ponies from the line and we'll find a rock or something. A rock. It'll be a big rock, she grinned, letting herself drop back. Carrot Top smiled to herself, holding her head a little higher as she continued to canter line. Perhaps there'd be some good fallout for this after all. A cheap, chilling howl pushed her thoughts straight from her mind. Half-packed miners washed down the line, and the parade skidded to a halt. Every pony searching the forest around them for where the howl came from. Carrot Top caught a blur of moment out the corner of her eye. A large form constructed of wooded plant matter stalking through the trees. We got company! A few of the trees groaned in creaking protest as the unified Timberwolf from the night before pushed its way to view on the right side of the procession. It went by, still marked by the acid burns of the alcohol firestorm, throwing its head back again another howl. It took another bounding leap toward the line of ponies. Then it froze, eyes glowing finally, nosing just how many ponies there were. Help! The whole gaggle of Carrot Top shot back at the monster. It took a few nervous steps forwards, tilting its head to the small army before it. Carrot Top didn't have much insight what went through their minds of those woody predators, but she could only describe the Timberwolf's accents as confused. Hey! Cheerily grinned, seizing upon an idea, pointing a hoof at the Timberwolf. Does every pony think that poor gentleman needs help? Help! Came the crying of the orange and yellow, clones almost leering at the Timberwolf lord. It took another shuffling step backwards, the clones taking a step forward. Wolf took another step back as it closed all around it. Every pony! Carrot Top shouted. Help me break that stick bottom! Everyone take one! The Timberwolf King turned to run, taking a few looping strides before the wave of clones slammed into his back legs, toppling forward with a crash. It was engulfed by the copy swarm, crunches and snaps filling the air, while they storiously tore sticks and branches away from its form. After a minute of cracks and pops and snaps, the copies sat back to the line, each one clutching a separate pocket stick that had been part of the Timberwolf in their mouths. Help! Lyra quickly began to play again. How are you holding up? Lyra glanced back at the line of Carrot Tops, nodding to herself. I think so. I still got matches to spare. Good. Trixie nodded, pointing to the old stream bed that led to the pool. We're almost there. Okay, what do I do when I get them in there? Silence for the illusionist. Trixie, leading them back here was your idea! I'm thinking! Trixie winced. It's not easy dealing with ancient magic on the fly. Okay. They're basically the water for the pool safety to a pony. If I were pulling a pool like that together, I still have the enchantment to fall apart, charging upon the water once again. That's kind of a big assumption, Lyra winced. The entrance to the mirror pool limiting the distance. I know, but that's all I got! Fine, Lyra frowned, putting across his feet. Then let's do this. Wait! Lyra rushed down to the stairs, the subterranean chambers. The water level of the pool very, very low. Down from a few inches, plunging ahead. She splashed through what was left of the water, pressing up against the back of the pool's wall, continuing to play. I hope this works, or Bonnie is going to kill Trixie. The clowns were right behind her, rushing, almost tumbling down the stairs as they followed the music. Lyra winced, bracing for a possible impact when the hose of the first one hit the edge of the remaining liquid. Bonnie melted away to liquid with a mighty splash, the pool's level creeping higher on Lyra's legs, and the rest came tumbling in, crashing into each other, sliding down the stairs and splashing into the pool in an almost constant waterfall of yellow and orange. Water level surged, splashing higher and higher up her body, as the pool returned to its full volume. Yes! Lyra crowed, treading water as the pool came deep enough she couldn't touch the bottom anymore. The tumble of ponies finally stopped. As the last copy skated to a halt at the bottom of the stairs, Lyra frowned, noticed the increased mental acuity flickering in the copy's eyes. Hi, friend. Do you need help? Lyra grinned nervously, dropping her lyre to the pool. Could you help me get my lyre? Splash! Lyra trotted back to the underground chamber, sticking water from her coat. Did we get them all? Trixie nodded, a happy grin on her muzzle. Lost every last one of them, run down the stairs, so you handle things on our end. They're all water again. Trixie nodded, waving a hoof towards the opening. At the signal, Applejack, Green Grape, Cheerily, and Carrot Top began pushing a large boulder towards the head of the stairs, throwing all their weight into the moving stone. Lyra trotted out of the way as he shoved the rock into place, slamming down in the entrance, sealing it up with his weight. Carrot Top sighed, wiping her forehead with a back hoof. Well, I guess that's that for me this time. Suppose so, Trixie nodded. Guess we should head back to town then. Start cleaning up the mess they left behind. Nodding agreement, the assembled ponies turned and began their walk back to Ponyville, leaving the pool thoroughly buried in everfree quiet. A few moments later, once the ponies were thoroughly gone, the underbrush rustled. A long figure stepped out and approached the rock. Zakara glanced up at the rock, a thoughtful expression playing across her features. Carrot Top ripped up another grip of weeds from the ground, tossing them in a wheelbarrow with a flick of her head. It was another clear fall day, a slight chill snapping through the air as she worked. It had been a few days to repair the damage done by the spawned copies. All things considered, Ponyville had seen worse damage, which was comforting in its own way. Now, once again, proving its resilience, and things had returned to normal. Hey, Carrot Top. She glanced up, nodding at Green Grape at the edge of the field. The farmer nodded back as Carrot Top trotted towards her. What's going on, Green Grape? Well, I'm a little behind in my vines in town, wondering if I could post upon you some help. When? Well, now maybe? Carrot Top almost said yes, an urging reaction trying to burst forth. But she paused and thought for a moment. Eventually she shook her head. Sorry, Green. I still have plenty of work I need to do. I'll try with help out sometime then. And Green frowned slightly, but nodded her head. Fair enough, next time. Watching her fellow farmer trot back down the road, she nodded to herself, not regretting the decision. She couldn't do everything, after all. Before I get to the review of this chapter, I want to talk about something that occurred to me while I was reading the comments about the episode this was based off of, Too Many Pinkie Pies. Now, when I watched the episode, I thought nothing of it. I loved it. It was silly, fun, loved the antics of Pinkie, and I saw it was a good introspection on Pinkie's character. What people thought Pinkie was like, one note, only silly, only funny. It's got nothing more to her than just a party girl personality with nothing else about her, versus what Pinkie Pie really is like. Free-spirited, fun-loving, creative, silly, but just likes making other ponies happy. and just enjoys having fun with her friends and will do anything she can to make her pony smile. You know, that kind of thing. That's all I saw. But imagine my surprise when I find a lot of people pointing out controversy, saying things like, Twilight's a mass murderer, News on 11. Or making fan art of Twilight going all Sinandre on all the other Pinkies with a machine gun, killing every single last one. Like, I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with this picture. Because I know what the writers were doing. It's the same thing they always did. They came up with an idea, Pinky making clones of herself, decided to create that idea, and thought what to make funny. Because this seems to be a thing. It's a constant thing that seems to keep happening. But NLP, while still having great characterization, great world building, great action, and well-developed characters, is still a comedy action series. It is still funny. There are jokes being put here in the messages for the kids. They weren't thinking of, oh, Twilight's a mass murderer. They weren't thinking of the subtle undertones. But here we are. Commenters, reviewers, analysis alike are like, mass murder. That one Pinkie Pie was sentient. Yeah, one. But clone degeneration kicked in, and none of them were sentient. None. That's when the joke happened. I wonder what they could have done to make it more clear that this was a gag. And that you weren't supposed to be taking the evisceration of the Pinkie Pies seriously. Were they supposed to just say, nah, we'll just let it slide? Maybe. Because I can't really think of what they would do. I mean, Pinkie Pie is not stupid. Silly, sure. Funny, yes. But stupid? No. If she saw one of them automatically showing clone generation, then yeah, wouldn't matter. But nope. Automatic clone generation. But nope. Pinkie Pie's a murderer. Maybe this is also one of those things I never get. Like, I watch Pinkie Pie trying to become friends with Cranky Doodle or trying to say she's sorry, and I see a hilarious reference to the Droopy cartoons. Other people go, she's being a stalker! I see Pinkie Pie being silly around Luna and just pretending to be scared and nobody understanding her because, hey, that happens. She's ruining it! No, Luna had fun afterwards. And every time I see this, I feel like going, when the doctors were giving you your vaccinations when you were a kid, did they also perform surgery to remove your funny bone? / get the stick out of your ass and learn to laugh. That's what I always feel like. And this episode is just making me think about that. Now, this episode is good, but I do got some problems here. I do like that this does emphasize Carrot Top's development and one of her main character traits. As an African, it was this character trait that helped inspire me and helped me to get Carrot Top's character down for a fall Starfleet. Somebody that always liked to help, provide assistance, and was selfless. Always feeling like she could put everybody in front of her. That's why I had her burn down her farm. Always felt like she was self-sacrificing. And always felt like, in the end, nothing else mattered but everybody else. That's what inspired me. That part. I also like that this actually demonstrated a lot of what Kara could do, and I'm glad that Twilight got involved more. On the other hand, I do have some complaints. Like, do we really need this to be starting up with because Green Grapes needed a lesson in not making it an us versus them situation? I mean, the drama of being overly helpful is enough. But you didn't need Green Grapes to go, oh yeah. Or, oh yeah, maybe we should protect against Timberwolves. Carrot Top, we could have gotten this whole plot started with Carrot Top being overly helpful. And finding herself being pushed too thin. Also, the Timberwolf attack felt more like the climax rather than the end bit. I wonder if we could have gotten rid of either the Timberwolves or the whole clone marching bit. The clone marching bit just felt like it was just there to be there. I also feel bad that Carrie didn't get to do too much at the end to finish her story. In the end, it was Lyra and Trixie who came up with all the clever tricks. Not Carrot Top. Carrot Top was just there. I mean, at least with the Timberwolf, Carrot Top got to do something. But then again, maybe I should have. Maybe the reason why I don't consider it murder is because you need to show me a lot more sentience than just one scene in order to convince me of that. I mean, I kind of did the same thing when it comes to Fall. I worked hard to show that Rarity's Golem Clarity was perfectly logical. And when we killed off Lightning's Golem for his trick, I made sure to make it a point that no, the Golem was not sentient. It didn't have a personality. It was a simulacrum. It was a copy. Well, now such a... Oh. Oh, God. I forgot. You guys might have remembered not too long ago I was making a kind of a joke on Mike's story about Great Guard Pony, and I was saying how it was getting awkward at that gag. There's a good reason for that. The writer of this story sadly passed away 2 years ago thanks to cancer. One of the things I hate when it comes to taking so long to doing some of these Lunaverse stories is that sometimes things can happen. A good man or woman could potentially die, and they could never get to see their work out there. Greyguard Pony, while I didn't get to know them personally or know their writing, I could say this. Their personality comes through a lot, and their story was really fun. In spite of my comments and my critiques, it's still a great story and still a lot of fun to sit through. This is one of those times I want to point out. This is the most important thing we gotta consider with the story is what type of legacy you're leaving behind. And I can tell you one thing. Great Guard Pony is leaving behind a pretty good legacy. There are still some pretty interesting Lunaverse episodes I can't wait to get through. And judging from the comments, was very acceptable and very caring. I'm just sorry I took so long to get to this point. And I hope that wherever they are, that they're enjoying what I read. And maybe they're smiling because I gave it everything I got, like I always do. That's another reason I love doing these. And I always will. is to show and demonstrate characters and demonstrate the people's stories. It's always sad when you hit that news because you feel like something special's gone. This is getting too sad. Next time I'll probably either do Sunset 7 Days in Sunny June Part 2 or What Didn't Happen. See you then. Goodbye, Great Guard Pony. You'll be missed.